Tech Team Weekly. This show may contain mature language and themes.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Tech Team Weekly. Back after a week's vacation, literally in my case. Apologies for the absence, largely caused by me going to an Airbnb where I was able to check in 30 minutes before recording time, and it was just a bit up in the air, and I just thought, let's miss it a week. We've got a really exciting topic for you today, joined as always by my usual co-hosts. I've got Sanj from the world of engineering. How are you doing, Sanj?
Hello, great.
And we've got old manager Gwen here. How are you doing, Gwen?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yes, really good. First to talk about how good I am. But one of the things we're going to talk about in our main topic today is how we don't always feel that way. And there was a topic on Reddit about people potentially with rose-tinted glasses saying, why don't we just jack it all in and go and do other jobs? And that's just going to lead into a fun discussion today about what we think about those people's thoughts and our own thoughts. So without any further ado, let's go into our stand-up.
The stand-up.
Brilliant. Okay, so what did I get up to this week? So I'm running some retros, so collecting the data from the retros, which was around like, we had to kind of do a project, and I always feel really dirty saying the word project, but we basically put transcription into our app. So just finding out how the stakeholders felt about it and all that kind of stuff. So that was really good. Some more lead dev stuff with the other like engineering management team, which was really nice. And then we're preparing for chief product officer interviews. So hanging out with the head of design and head of product for that. So that was really nice. Just thinking of the questions and stuff like that. We've got our new tester starting next week, which I'm so excited about. Like she's just going to be amazing. So yeah. And I've just got loads of interviews coming up. So more testers, which is really interesting. So maybe we should talk about interviews at some time, but like we've gotten loads of applications, and I'm not being too fussy at the application stage because it's like, and we're getting people that are like car, like quality assurance and stuff like that from Nissan, and they've done really well in the test. So I'm like, brilliant, like this is really cool. So getting people from outside the industry as well. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, really exciting. That's me.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk to like more people that aren't in tech and like getting them in. So yeah.
And interviewing is so hard, right? Getting it right.
I get too excited in the interview as well. So like because I write like questions specific to the person, and I just get so excited when you talk to them and they're really enthusiastic about what they're talking about. So yeah, I did an interview with one of the chaps at work, and I didn't let him speak because I was too excited. So that's a learning experience. Like, you know, when it's like, oh my God, you're amazing. Like, so yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to jump ahead to mine yet because I'm going to let Sanj go next, but we have a really, really well drilled interview pipeline process, which means that by the time anyone speaks to me, they've already been through a phone screen, a tech test. So I fall in love with every single person I talk to because we already know that we've cut out all the people who are not going to make the grade. And I'll save it for my update. But yeah, we've got a lot of people still at advanced stages of our pipeline right now because they're all so awesome.
Nice.
Okay, awesome. Well, it's good because I'll make my update very quick. So let's see. Since we last met, I had my new carpet fitted, which looks great. I'm very happy with it.
Nice.
I've ordered a standing desk because I'm just so sick and tired of sitting down. And, you know, I remember I used to love having a standing desk, and it's been a while. So that's actually arriving this afternoon. I'm not sure.
Nice.
Yeah, I know. I'm really excited, but it means a lot of rejigging, you know. So now I'm like thinking this could take days or weeks before it's actually set up.
What are you doing with your current desk?
I'm gonna keep it. So my current desk is quite basic.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a glass top with like two wooden legs. So I'm gonna keep the top and just gonna chuck the wooden legs.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll send you pictures when it happens. Out of the blue, I just suddenly decided I'm not going to drink coffee or tea anymore. I think it's been like about a week or so. And I mean, I was so addicted to coffee. I would have 3 or 4 coffees a day, and I just went cold turkey. I was like, oh, I just had enough.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling fine, actually. I feel okay.
Wow.
I've felt the urge, definitely, but I've been able to resist. It's not as strong as like nicotine or anything, you know?
Yeah. Wow. So I drink like 3 liters of tea a day. This is not beer. This is tea. And like, I just, so I couldn't imagine, like, when I go outside the house, I'm so bloody thirsty because I don't have tea with me all the time.
Yeah, I'm the same. If I'm having a tea, I want all the tea. I've got a head-sized mug here, and the worst thing is that I am over-dependent on it. Like my to jump into my update. No, sorry. If you
No, please go ahead. That's a perfect segue.
So yeah, to jump into my update, my son yesterday was diagnosed with chickenpox. Was sent home from nursery like in the middle of the morning when I was halfway through a big cup of tea. So I had no preparation for the fact that I was not going to have any time to drink any more tea yesterday. So as bad as the chickenpox is, like my tea crash yesterday, my caffeine loss was not great because it's been quite a long week. On the interview front in particular, I said in our last episode, I'm hiring for 3 roles at the moment, and that's with some other roles still to come on top of that in terms of contractors and things, but 3 permanent roles, 2 of which are at the second interview stage for 2 candidates in each role because we've got so many good candidates. So that's great. It should mean we should have a couple of offers out by early next week. The third position is proving trickier is the word I was looking for. The exploratory testing, sort of test analyst role. The tech test, we're getting back for that, which is kind of a simple bug hunting exercise. Very, very ordinary, I'll say. Partly it's because the test is deliberately ambiguous, and I think it's allowing people to fall into traps or to go down one thing. And like, I've seen some people who've looked at one thing really, really well, but missed loads of really obvious stuff that like I was kind of hoping they'd see. I think I might need to rework that next week. Once these other 2 offers are out, I'll be free to look at this third role because I don't think we're helping people to shine because there's good people out there. Spoke briefly at a company meeting for the first time the other day, which is really nice fun. We have a monthly company update, and it was like, hello, here's me. I've been here for a month talking about my quality strategy for the company. So that was awesome fun. 2 big bits of news. Number 1, follow-up from last time. I bought an electric car. Yay! Well, I have ordered it. I went for the Kia EV6.
Nice.
Cool.
It's highly recommended. It was like car of the year last year. Like a lot of things, particularly with it being their first dedicated electric car, the onboard electrics, like the what do you call it, the in-car system and stuff, is prone to being broken. Like they keep pushing updates to make it better. Like it's got one of these apps where you're supposed to be able to preheat the car in advance, and it sometimes works and sometimes doesn't, and they're going to fix it with software. But they've got plenty of time to do it because there is a huge waiting list. Like my car is due to arrive in September. They say maybe sooner, but current estimate is September. And I'm seeing on forums, like people who ordered in like November still have delivery dates of April this year. So like 6 months, 7 months is not uncommon at the moment. And it's not just them. Like I was looking at the Ford Mustang Marquee, and that has a very similar waiting list as well. But a new car to come, which will be awesome. Almost as awesome is the fact that we have stickers. We have stickers. They arrived.
Nice.
Yay.
Wow.
Shiny
Cool.
back of 10. Beth Marshall was on Twitter the other day asking about whether anyone had used Sticker Mule and whether they were any good. These stickers from Sticker Mule, they only cost us £1 because it's like a demo pack. But yeah, really, really good, really awesome. It gets pricey when you start to order like 100 of them, which will give us 1 to cover every subscriber we have right now. But when I get a free moment in my life, I will mail all our Patreon subscribers through Patreon and say, do you want one? I'll send you one because they are nice and shiny. They're a good, like 5 centimeters square maybe. But yeah.
Sticker Mule stickers are like the best. So we always got the Testing Atelier ones from there, and like this is the Testing Atelier that didn't happen because of COVID, but look how shiny and beautiful it is.
Hollow sticker.
Yeah,
That looks like a very nice quality sticker.
They're amazing. Yeah.
All right. Maybe Sticker Mule should sponsor us.
We should ask them to sponsor us. That's a good idea.
We'll give it a go, see what happens.
This week's epic.
So many people that I speak to in tech all have this dream to one day just leave the industry and stop writing software and do something else entirely. And usually something to do with wood from a lot of people that I speak to. So user No Momentum on Reddit asked in CS Careers, it was a couple of weeks ago, if anyone else felt the same. Verbatim, is it? So they have said, I'm a data scientist / software developer, and I keep longing for a simpler life. I'm getting tired of the constant need to keep up to date just to stay in the game. Christ, if an electrician went home and did the same amount of upskilling that devs do to stay in the game, they'd be in some serious demand. I'm sick to death of business types who don't even try to meet you halfway, making impossible demands and then being disappointed with the end result. I'm constantly having to manage expectations. I'd love to become an electrician or a train driver. Go in, do a hard day's graft, go home. Instead of my current career path where I'm constantly having to reprioritize, put out fires, report to multiple leads with different agendas, scope and build things that have never been done, etc. The stress is endless. Nothing is ever good enough or fast enough. It feels like an endless fucking treadmill, and it's tiring. Maybe I'm misguided, but in other field, one becomes master of their craft over time. In computer science or data science, I feel like you are forever a junior because your experience decays over time. Yes, is basically what I have to say. Computer science isn't a 9-to-5 job, I don't think. As we say, recording this outside of 9 to 5, you know, like, yeah, it's kind of a lifestyle.
Yeah, it is definitely a lifestyle. And, you know, they're pointing out a lot of the hard and challenging parts of our jobs, right? Mm-hmm. But it doesn't always have to be that way.
No, they are the bits that do tend to gripe us, and I think, I mean, we'll get into it, but there is a sense of rose-tinted specs of only seeing the good things about other careers that you might go into, and I think a lot of people in that Reddit thread were saying, actually, electricians, you know, electric standards change annually. People have to, you know, if you think, unless you're working for yourself, you're still going to be part of a structure where there are demands placed on you. If you think you're not going to have a performance review in a non-tech job, you might be in for a surprise. I think some of these are things that you would have to live and experience, and we'll go around it a bit and talk about what our own dream careers would be if we just walked away from it. But I think there is a difference between having frustrations with your current role and going, there must be something better than this, because to a certain extent you will always find these things. And I've said on previous podcasts, I think I said on Ahead in Tech with you, Sanj, like the number of jobs that I walked away from because of like political reasons within the company, where I was too young and naive to realize that's what all companies were doing. Like I could have 3 or 4 fewer companies on my CV if I just gone, actually everyone's like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So have either of you wanted to do anything else?
Oh,
like, be like a plumber or a train driver, painter, electrician.
So my list of things that I would do if I had like multiple lives, like, I mean, I have so many dream jobs, but I can't imagine ever leaving tech because it's beautiful. And the things that I want to do usually involve a lot of university or something. So my dream would be to become a dentist. I absolutely love dental stuff.
Wow.
But also, like, I'd love to run a cafe or a bar, or, like, I'd love to be an air hostess.
Really?
Oh, my God. Could you imagine?
What's the cool part of that job for you?
The air hostess.
Yeah. What, going around the world or being on a plane?
No, the performance. It's a constant performance, isn't it? So, like, you're acting the entire time. So before I was in tech, like, I used to get to pretend to be a receptionist occasionally when I worked in a call center. And that was just performance the entire time. Like, hello, you're through to Stella. How can I help you? Like, all that kind of shit. It's great. So, like, and yeah, there's a bit of performance in this role, but there's not as much as in other roles, you know, like customer service is really enjoyable. Yeah. How about you, Sanj? What do you dream of?
You know, there's a lot of things like you. I wish I had many different lives to live. I would do so many different things. And a lot of things I would love to do, I'm totally unqualified and will never be qualified to do, you know. But I do dream of a simpler life. I would like to just, you know, wander a beach. Is that a job? Can I just...
Beachcomber?
Yeah, beachcomber. Can I do that?
You know, metal detecting or something, or
lifeguard.
Lifeguard
on a deserted beach. That's the job for me. And how about you, Neil? Go and tell us your dream.
Yeah, I think Gwen touched on a couple of them weirdly. Like 6 or 7 years ago, explored the idea of owning my own pub. And again, that was very much through a romantic thing where I think I was only thinking of, you know, the landlord stood behind the bar, not realizing it's a business where you've got things like spending your entire day in dank cellars, lifting very heavy barrels around, and a clientele that is prone to causing problems for your business when they've had too much to drink, and constant hiring challenges because there's fast turnover, on top of running a business and filing taxes and things. And I thought the idea, I actually got as far as like buying some books on Kindle. It was like, so you want to be a landlord? And the first half of these books were, no, you don't. These are all the reasons you actually don't want to. And if you get past that bit, then here's some practical tips. Similarly, the idea of I really like the Lake District. I'm obviously in the Peak District now, and also I've got like experiences in Cornwall and Devon, and the idea of owning like a tea rooms or a bed and breakfast. When we bought this house last year, I was really trying to sell my wife on the idea of there was a bed and breakfast in the hills on the outside of town that's like 8 bedrooms with a house attached. Like we could buy the house, you rent the rooms and run it as a business. And again, there's work to do there, like turning over 8 rooms a day when strangers have been in there doing strange things. Perhaps not like the idea that it seems like on the surface when you get down into it. I think the most frustrating thing for me is that, again, major first world problems. Like I'm in a position where I could just walk away. I've got enough savings to cover. I think they say you should always try and have like a month, two's savings, maybe more than that if you can, in case the worst happens. I've got a year or two, and that gives me a position where I could just walk away. And I could, my son's now turning 2. I could spend a year of my life just being around the house, like with no income, and I could cover everything. Or I could pursue something that's a hobby, and maybe it helps bring some money in, and maybe it doesn't, and it doesn't matter. Like I kind of wish that money wasn't there. I think a big part of me wants to just bury that away into long-term, fixed-term savings, so it's not there to tempt me, because that's not what the money's for. But like, it's like every time I have a day like no momentum described on Reddit, like I'm like, I literally could not do this if I wanted to.
So the thing is, as well, is you can do some of this stuff and still keep your career. So, like, I really like working in pubs. I'm Australian, hell, like, of course I do. But, like, my friends own a pub, and I used to get to work in there sometimes, and I fucking loved it because, you know, when you give people alcohol, they're so happy, like, and, you know, like, and just the customer service stuff. But yeah, so, and people, like, the most common one is woodwork, and you can do loads of woodworking outside of work. But, you know, we work in a really charmed career. Yeah, there is some shit, like, humans suck. The computers don't so much.
We're in a very privileged position in our industry, aren't we? Right? I mean, we're rewarded quite well. We have all these luxuries of work from home whenever you want, you know, and on Friday, you know, sure, go do a Udemy course or something, you know, and it's fine, right? Who else gets those like luxuries? You know, really, they don't, do they?
Yeah, like for as much as I miss the idea of fixed hours, which is one of the things that put forward on Reddit. We do have flexible hours, so I can have a day like yesterday where I'm surprised I'm picking my son up from nursery at 10 in the morning, but also I could still work some hours in the evening, and it doesn't actually count as holiday, and, you know, we can flex around it. And I think you miss that flexibility. Like one of my other dream careers is to do some kind of education, probably not a school teacher though, because my wife is one, and I know her troubles with the fact that, you know, you can't just take a day's holiday. And she keeps forgetting, like, she's like, oh, we can't go away or we can't do something until this time of the year. I'm like, well, I can. You can't, but I can. Like she makes assumptions that everyone's job has the same demands as hers, and I'd love to get into giving something back, particularly in tech. But perhaps it's through like full-time workshopping. There's certainly plenty of people in the testing industry that me and Gwen know of who go out and make a living selling testing services. Some of whom have recently gone. Lisa Crispin, who's a huge name in agile testing, who I always assumed was like an independent contractor, just announced the other day that she's now an independent contractor. I'm like, I'm amazed you already weren't, because of how well known you are in the industry. And like, I'm not at her level, but I'd love to be. Like, just again, going out and giving people something that is my passion on my own terms.
So we had a charity come in and speak to us at work this week, Touchstone, who are absolutely amazing. But they were saying that they hire people within like who have had like prison backgrounds and stuff like that, ex-convicts. I don't know if that's the right term. But I was speaking to my partner about it, and one of the people he used to work with used to go into prisons and teach computer science and, like, you know, teach programming. And it's like, that is so awesome. And I don't have the skills to. I'm a really shit coder. But I would love to do something like that. Maybe I need to get better so I can actually do that, you know, like, yeah.
I'm sure you're a far better coder than you give yourself any credit for. That's the kind of thing I could definitely see you having fun doing. You know, I'm sure you could smash something like that. Maybe.
I don't know. I only code like really infrequently because my job changes like every single year. So like some years I'm coding mostly, but like often I'm not. Yeah.
I would love to see that documentary, Gwen Behind Bars. You know? Gwen goes behind
cool.
bars to teach ex-cons how to code.
It's just lovely.
You teach them to reprogram their door keys or something, and they're all out.
So we had some comments from social media this week. So Beth, who was pretty much on board with what we were saying, so I spoke to my local vet this week about this article that she references, which is about how hard it is to be a vet and like the kind of abuse that you get and stuff like that. And they verified they'd had colleagues who were no longer with us and suffered a lot of abuse in daily situations. Everyone's different, but I feel like I have it so good in tech. And yeah, like, you know, looking during the pandemic, the stuff that people in the NHS had to put up with, and, you know, we're sat at home in our fucking cushy houses, and yeah, it's blissful.
I think a lot of the sorry to interrupt. I think a lot of the sort of points that people were expressing in this Reddit post are the things we hear every day, which is, you know, the really stressful and difficult part of our jobs, right? Which we don't need, which, you know, really, if you think about it, you can do something to fix and to change, right? Like you can fix problems. Yeah. And if you're just not happy where you are, it could be your environment, it could be your role, it could be the people you're working with, you know, look around. There's so many options, right? You could make yourself a whole lot happier, and, you know, probably don't leave tech, you know. Keep making that money while you can.
The most stressful situations I've had was like a 12-hour deployment where it was so stressful I was vomiting. Like this was years ago. And the solution is to fix your fucking deployment stuff.
Yeah,
and the other like massive problems I've had was with like, you know, really arrogant people in tech, and that's people problem. They exist everywhere, you know, like yeah. So Carlton also commented, a frequent expression of mine at work is, fuck this, I'm going to lay bricks with my dad. I think a lot of us find it difficult to switch off at 5 p.m., which is incredibly draining over an extended period of time. I've gotten a lot better at that after the pandemic. So I don't know how I was living before the pandemic, because I was like always traveling and like writing talks and all this kind of stuff. And I've just chilled out a lot, and yeah, I don't know. It's nice.
How did we have time for everything in the before times?
I don't know. It's horrifying.
I think before pivoting to a topic we've covered before, I think it's because we were more removed from our notifications. Like if you wanted to check your emails, you used to go and find a computer, switch it on, and see who sent you an email. You don't have a thing in your pocket telling you every 2 seconds someone's commented on a thing that you once wrote a month ago that you've forgotten about already, and you need to check whether it's important. Like I am really trying to disconnect from my devices where I can. I've finally silenced my work email on my phone. The account is still there if I want to go into it, but I've stopped getting work emails sent through to my phone because they come through at weird hours about weird things. I'm like, nope, this can wait. I'm not working.
Emails are so weird. I've had to communicate with like a supplier over email, and I find it so difficult because I constantly forget that it exists. And then I reply like a day later and I'm like, oh God, yeah.
What did it come down to? So I think we say that there's always something that we would like to go and do, but there are practical reasons why we might not choose to do that.
Yeah, and rose-tinted goggles and all that. I think we probably have it well. And yeah. But,
so one of my, I just remembered something. One of my dreams, like when I was a kid, was to become an electrician. And so I did a work of being an electrician for a day. Do you know what being an electrician was? It was digging fucking trenches in clay.
No way.
And when I was 17, I was not built for digging trenches in clay. So, you know, like all these things, like imagine becoming an electrician, and there's a lot of hard things in that role as well. So
yeah, my best friend out of school, he left at 16 and became a plumber, and I spent quite a lot of days just on the job with him. I was like, this is not for me. And weirdly, he then went and moved to Norfolk with his family, who bought a pub, and he became, you know, a semi-landlord. And again, I think that's where my optimism for that job came in, because I saw the bits that he got to do, which was the nice talking to customers, not the rest of the stuff.
Totally.
Mopping up puke at the end of the day.
So yeah, as shiny as other things are, you know, we have it all right here.
Yeah, I think we'll all still be here next week, at least.
Definitely.
Yeah.
The Wash Up.
That was it, folks. Thanks again for joining us for another episode of Tech Team Weekly. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend, and join us next week.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Tech Team Weekly.